I was initially a little hesitant. I don't want it to come across that there's too many speakers on this side, but in my case, I really feel it's important that I get up and speak as a small business owner. I've been here about 14 months. I'm just learning to identify as a senator, but really most of my being is about being a small business owner. It's what I wanted to do when I was in high school, and I finally, 18 years ago, started my own business. This issue is a big deal. Healthcare is a big deal to small business owners. And I get the economics of the issue as a small business owner. And a lot of people have spoken eloquently as to the economics and other issues before us. So I'm not going to delve into that. I want to describe my experience as a small business owner. When I started about 18 years ago, applicants really didn't ask about health care coverage. They asked, what does it pay, basically? An interview, what kind of work is it, and what does it pay? Well, now, everybody, myself, the employer, and the applicant, we always make sure we talk about health care coverage. They want to know, and I want to know. And all of my employees have health care coverage. I have a 6-person business. They either have it through their spouses or through me. It's very important to a business that we deal with health care coverage in one aspect or another. From my perspective, there are 3 keys to success in small business. First and foremost, you work hard. All the time you're doing it, you always work hard, and I do. And everybody who makes it in small business for more than a few years, it's, in my view, because they work hard. The second reason is that they provide value to their customers. They give their customers a greater benefit than it costs those customers to hire that business. And the third, and this is important in the longer term, is that as a business owner, you identify and you manage all kinds of risks. Well, one of the biggest risks to a small business is health care coverage for their employees. This bill, and the reason I support it, it kind of touches on what Senator Woodbury talked about, is managing risk with respect to health care coverage and insurance is spreading the risk among as large a population as you can for those who need that insurance protection or that service. And a key component of that, at the lower level of the income scale, is this main care expansion. And those that have insurance at the higher levels, like my employees and many of all of us, we're covered in another way, but it has to be spread across all aspects of the population at risk. Another two key components also with healthcare coverage and risk management. One is that, as we all know, if you have a catastrophic medical situation and you have insurance coverage or main care, you're covered. That's hugely important, as has been touched on. But the other is access to preventive care. That's the second crucial component of all of this, and it's one of the key reasons I wanted to get up and talk about this. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. We all know that. It's somewhat trite. Those are the 2 key components that I look at as a small business owner when I support this bill. I want to finish with a story. On the day of the U.S. Supreme Court decision that kind of put us in this position that would allow states to expand or not expand, I happened to have an appointment with my primary care physician. And I've been going in for 20 years or so. He's in his 60s, a fairly conservative doctor, and we've talked about all kinds of things. I've been going there a long time, and we have a good relationship. And I said, well, this Supreme Court just happens. At the time, I was still campaigning for Senate. I said, and he knew that, and I said, so what's your view on this? I'd love to hear it from the direct perspective of somebody right in the thick of all this. And he said, I support main care expansion. I've been in this business a long time, and I see the value of preventive care. And he told me a few stories, some not with good outcomes for lack of preventive care, but I want to share the one that he told of an individual 23-year-old young man who came to him for a physical. Had not had coverage previously, but he had joined the service, and so he was required to get a physical as part of that, his enrollment process. The doctor saw this, and he was a very physically fit 23-year-old male from here in Maine, and in my district. In fact, he was so fit that he was very muscular. He worked out a lot, and the doctor said if not for that physical, for that requirement, this young man would have thought everything was fine, that he didn't need coverage, that he didn't need care, but he had to get it as a requirement for his enrollment. Well, the doctor found a lump, sent it in for a biopsy. It required treatment. 23-year-old, seemingly perfectly healthy. Prevention is crucially important. He got it through a different way, but the point is more of the prevention. He was treated, he recovered, he's doing fine. But that's a story that just wanted to share. I think prevention is a big part of the base of the pyramid of healthcare coverage.